Chebet unleashed a devastating late kick to repeat her Paris Olympic triumph over her fellow Kenyan, with Italy's Nadia Batacleti claiming a second medal in Tokyo. Beatrice Chebet won the Battle of Kenya in the 5000 m at the 2025 World Athletics Championships in Tokyo on Saturday, September 20th. Chebet, who took 10,000 m gold last Saturday, sprinted past 1500 m hero Faith Chepngetich in the home straight to complete the long-distance double. The 25-year-old is not being beaten in a 5000 m or 10,000 m race for 2 years, other than at the Kenyan national trials. She now has a full set of distance titles at global championships after her double at Paris 2024. In a slowly run race, Kipyegon tracked her younger teammate before edging ahead with 600 m to go as the pace increased. Italy's Nadia Batacleti led at the bell, but she was soon passed by the two Kenyans, with Gudaft Tsege of Ethiopia moving to her shoulder. Kipyegon made the first move, but Chebet looked calm before surging clear in the last 60 m. Batacleti was a close third to add to her 10,000 m silver, with USA's longtime leader Shelby Houlihan passing a fading Tsege for fourth. Beatrice Chebet closed Tokyo's women's 5,000 m in dramatic fashion on Saturday, September 20th, 2025, sprinting past fellow Kenyan Faith Chepngetich on the home straight to complete a scarcely believable long-distance double at the World Athletics Championships. The 25-year-old, already the 10,000 m champion from earlier in the week, timed her finishing kick to perfection and crossed the line in 14 minutes and 54.36 seconds, just ahead of Kipyegon's 14 minutes and 55.07 seconds. Italy's Nadia Batacleti produced another magnificent championship run to take bronze in 14 minutes and 55.42 seconds, giving each of the top 3 athletes a second medal from Tokyo. This was not merely another title for Chebet. It was a confirmation of a rare and taxing achievement, winning both the 10,000 m and 5,000 m at a global championships, the physical and mental demands of which few athletes can sustain across the space of a championship fortnight. Chebet's Tokyo triumph replicated the double she had achieved at Paris 2024 and reinforced her growing reputation as the preeminent distance runner of her generation. The women's 5,000 m in Tokyo unfolded as a tactical contest rather than an all-out time trial. The race began at a pedestrian tempo by World Championship standards, a familiar script these days when medals are the primary objective and athletes prefer to conserve energy for a decisive last lap. Italy's Nadia Batacleti, who had already taken silver in the 10,000 m, kept things honest at various stages and famously led the field into the bell, only to be swallowed by the forces lining up for a final sprint. Faith Chepngetich, who had earlier in the championships triumphed over the 500 m field to add another title to her collection, tracked the moves carefully. With roughly 600 m to go, Chepngetich nudged forward and appeared to have the measure of the race. She slipped into the lead and began to unleash the potent acceleration that has made her so fearsome at championship distances. But Chebet, who had been tucked in the pack and waiting, responded with a composed, explosive run that unfurled in the final 60 meters, a salvo that Chepngetich could not match. The judges' clocks recorded Chebet's win in 14 minutes and 54.36 seconds, with Kipyegon and Batacleti following in a photo finish-adjacent procession. What made the finish so compelling was not just the closeness of the times, but the storylines converging in those last strides. Kipyegon, renowned for a devastating finish that has often left rivals grasping at thin air, seemed to have given everything as she surged past the bell. Chebet, however, showed the kind of late-race speed and calm execution that mark a champion. She remained relaxed, let her legs spin, and then suddenly lengthened her stride and poured every ounce of energy into the straight. The result was a narrow yet definitive victory, one born of patience as much as speed. That Chebet was able to summon such power at the end of a championship that had already taken a toll was remarkable. Her 10.000 win on an earlier day had required its own reserve of strength. To come back and outkick an athlete of Kipyegon's caliber mere days later is a testament to preparation, recovery, and tactical nous. Commentators and experts on the athletic circuit immediately pointed to Chebet's ability to manage the championship's physical stressors and to time her efforts in the rounds, a skill that often separates great athletes from the merely very good. Beatrice Chebet's rise is not the product of overnight luck. The Kenyan, who has been steadily building a resume of major championship success, already carried the Olympic 10.000 title from Paris 2024 and a World 10.000 crown into Tokyo. That background of big race experience helped her manage the curveballs of championship racing, slow early tempos, tactical surges, and the psychological war of attrition. Chebet's performance in Tokyo confirmed that her Paris achievements were not a one-off, but part of a sustained peak. Faith Chepngetich, by contrast, occupies the rarefied space of a middle-distance legend. The 500m world record holder and multiple global champion is famous for her capacity to accelerate cleanly off the front and to close races with unerring efficiency. Kipyegon's ability to contend for the 5.000 title was never in doubt. The question remained whether she could overcome the fatigue of doubling and the speed reserve of a fresh opponent who had already executed one championship peak. In Tokyo, she proved once more that she is virtually unbeatable in the right circumstances, but on this occasion Chebet's sprint edged her out. One of the most enduring images from the women's distance events in Tokyo is Italy's Nadia Battacletti standing on the podium twice. Her bronze in the 5.000 following a silver in the 10.000 marked an exceptional return on the promise she's long shown on the European circuit. Battacletti led portions of the 5.000 and though rolled up by the Kenyan surge in the final straight, she held on impressively for bronze, clocking 14 minutes and 55.42 seconds. For Italy, and for Battacletti personally, Tokyo has been a confirmation that she can mix it with the very best at global level over both distances. The United States also produced a strong showing. Shelby Houlihan, a veteran of the championship rounds and a familiar figure in distance medalist discussions over the past decade, finished a credible fourth in 14 minutes and 57.42 seconds, passing a tiring Gudaft Sege in the final bends to secure the best of the rest position. Houlihan's placing underscored the depth of the international field, while the podium belonged to the more traditional distance powers. Athletes from outside East Africa and Europe were in the mix and pushing the pace. To understand Chebet's performance fully, it helps to unpack the tactical skeleton of championship distance racing. Unlike paced road races or time trials, championship finals are exercises in game theory. Each athlete must decide when to expend energy, when to draft, run behind another athlete to save oxygen and reduce wind resistance, and when to risk creating a gap. The slow early pace in Tokyo benefited athletes with superior finishing speed. The evening's humidity and the cumulative load of multiple rounds further encouraged tactical conservatism. Chebet's final kick exploited exactly those conditions. She conserved, then struck. Sports scientists watching the race pointed to her split pattern, a measured middle section followed by a rapid descent in the last 400 meters, culminating in a closing 60m that was faster than many shorter distance specialists could manage at that point in the program. Recovery protocols, ice baths, compression, nutrition, and active recovery were also a silent part of the story. Athletes attempting doubles must marshal everything available to recover between races. Coaches and support staff become as crucial as the athletes themselves. Chebet's team apparently managed that side of things expertly, allowing her to access fresh speed when it mattered most. Observers noted the efficiency of the Kenyan camp's recovery logistics as a possible differentiator over other teams less accustomed to juggling multiple medal opportunities in compact schedules. Championships are emotionally taxing. The weight of national expectation, personal ambition, and media attention can fray nerves. Chebet's composure, the calm that allowed her to sit behind Kipyegon and wait for the exact moment to unleash her sprint, has been a hallmark of her championship approach. In press interviews, she variously credited confidence and a lack of unnecessary pressure for enabling her performances. Meanwhile, Kipyegon, while disappointed not to grab both golds, was magnanimous in acknowledging the quality of the race and the talent of her countrywoman. Their mutual respect reflected the high standard of elite competition, where rivalry often coexists with friendship and admiration. Chebet's repeat of the 5,000m/10,000m double, first at the 2024 Olympics and now at the 2025 World Championships, complicates the narrative of the global distance hierarchy. Historically, athletes who dominate one long event often struggle to match that success across another in the same championship. The metabolic and neuromuscular toll is usually prohibitive. Chebet's ability to claim both titles twice in succession suggests a training program and physiological profile specifically tailored to the demands of championship doubles, endurance with a residual sprint finish. For the rest of the field, Chebet's repeat signals that the bar has been raised. Tactical planning, recovery, and sprint endurance will have to be sharpened for Tokyo's victors to be toppled in future seasons. Kenya's internal competition remains one of the sport's decisive engines. Chebet's only recent defeats at 5,000m and 10,000m, barring championship outings, have come at national trials, an ominous reminder that the depth in Kenyan distance running is rarely breached at domestic level. The internal rivalry pushes athletes to peak performances.